Hey, welcome to the Broken for Better podcast.
We're a nonprofit organization with the purpose of equipping your marriage and strengthening your family so that your tomorrow can be better than your today.
Enjoy the episode.
All right. Listen, we are super excited.
Yes,
today.
look at us. We're all snuggled up on the couch.
I know, I'm matching.
Like we're about to start a, sex pod, dating pod.
But we're not.
But we're not.
Because we have other people here. We are super excited. We get the opportunity and the privilege to bring you Gus and Jen O'Neil.
That's right. We got guests in the house.
Yes, let's do it. Super excited. We have done this pod for a very long time.
Yeah.
Just the two of us. Just the two of us.
Go ahead and sing it.
Hey, that's about all you get right here.
He
That's
likes-
it.
Man, I was ready to join.
He likes to start almost every pod with a song. He likes to pick a song.
I got a song in my
It's
heart.
like a jukebox.
It
Sounds like
is.
somebody else that I know.
Hey, but here's the thing. My jukebox, it only knows about one lyric, one line, and then we call it a day. You know? He's like, just the two of us. Okay. Oh, no, we can make it if we try. That's it.
Oh, you got
Hey.
it.
Good job.
You got a whole line this time.
So here's what we're going to do. We wanted to talk about dating. And we hear that you guys are the aficionados, that you're the best at it.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's been
what
that
we
way for a
heard.
very long time.
We
What?
have our days. We have our moments.
Wow, what an honor. I never heard that. Anybody tell me that. That's
There it
pretty
is.
cool.
There it is.
We try.
And so we just wanted to bring them on here and kind of chop shop. We're a little farther along. Kids a little older.
Yeah.
And so we kind of want to talk about our journey. But
Yeah.
we also want to talk about what it looks like being on that journey when you started dating, you got younger kids, how you keep that going, how you keep that spark alive and make it a priority.
Yeah.
And then something else at the end, I want to talk about kind of what you guys are diving into because it's really piqued an interest in us. So you mind if we just kind of do
do
all
it.
things dating tonight?
Yeah, no, of course.
Sweet,
We're down.
sweet.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So tell us a little bit, just your early dating.
Yeah.
Let's go back to when it first started. Break it down. How did it go down? What was it like? How did he woo you over?
Oh my God.
Oh, I got this. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I love telling. Actually,
How did
I heard.
you woo me over? Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
go.
okay, one day. That's how you start. Every good story starts with one day.
It's Sunday.
Oh, every great story starts with on a Sunday. So
Oh.
one day on a Sunday, I was doing my thing. I was playing drums for my old church, and actually this is the part where I let her tell it because you tell it so well.
Okay.
Let them know.
All right. So one Sunday, I had actually moved back to Miami, and I walk into my old church, and when you first walk in, there's like this huge wall. So as soon as I walk in, I'm hearing these drums, and I'm like, man, who's playing drums? I'm like, they're playing to the beat of my heart. Like, that's how intense I felt
Wow.
it. Like, I just felt like I needed to know. So I like run to my friend, and I was like, hey, who is that? And she was like, that's Gus. And I'm like, Gus? Wait, like Gus? And she was like, yeah, Gus, you met him last year. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to marry him.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
she
so you
was-
had already met him before.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
but,
we
like,
met.
yeah.
So what happened was we first met at youth camp, maybe a year and a half ago or 2 years
Yeah.
ago or something like that.
So when you
2
say
years
that
before
one time at camp.
Yeah,
You're
that
like,
one
we're
time
not
at youth
playing.
camp, we're not playing. But what happened at the
Okay.
time is she had just known my brother. She didn't have an interest in nothing. She met my brother, and then he was like, "Hey, this is my little brother Gustavo," and I was like, "Hey,
And I was like, no,
how you doing?
thanks.
Okay,
I
bye."
had no
And that was
interest.
it. I was young. I was with my friends. We were all having a blast. We were like looking at everything else and whatever. And then a couple years later, when I was more mature, more of a gentleman, she came through the door. She heard me playing, and
That's it.
that was it.
It was
And
a
the
wrap.
rest was history.
And
Wait,
the rest
so-
was the rest was her giving me her number. I didn't even have to ask for it.
Dang.
Bro, listen, you played drums and your name is Gustavo.
I
That's
know,
a
right?
rap,
That's
dude.
a
It's
that's
a rap.
that's a match right there.
Easy.
So then after that, she, like I said, after service, she was like, "Hey, my name's Genesis." I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" I was trying to be like real cool. So I was like, "Hey, how you doing?"
So did you remember her
with
from
his
youth camp?
sidekick. He had a
From
sidekick.
youth camp?
Yeah, had you
Yeah.
remember her?
I did remember her
Okay,
from youth camp.
okay.
I did actually. That's a great question. So yes, I did remember her. And then I had a sidekick, and I whipped it out. I was, the phone opened up or whatever.
sidekick.
Yeah, I thought I was real cool, man. How old was I? I was like
17.
Man, 17 years
That's
old.
legit.
Wow.
17.
Yeah. So I pull out my sidekick and I'm just texting on it, and then all of a sudden she's like, "Hey, you want to have my number so you can text me?" I was like, I was really scared. I was really nervous because I didn't know how to talk to girls at that time. So I was like, oh, yeah. So I gave her my sidekick. She put her number in. And then she left church. And after she left church, like 5 minutes later, she hits me up on the sidekick. And I was like,
she was putting on full court
yeah,
press, bro.
bro.
I just knew. I just knew.
Like, you legit told your friend I'm gonna marry her.
I
Yeah,
promise
she
you.
did.
I told him.
Her
I
friend
told
tells
her
me
that.
all the time. They were like best friends at that time. And she always tells me that. She's like, Genesis always told me she was going to marry you.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Wow. So it wasn't more like love at first sight. It was like love at first, like sound.
Yeah.
She's like, boy, you know how to beat it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So
That's
that
amazing.
explains why y'all have a drum kit in your bedroom. You just had. you like,
We have a drum pad.
I do, yeah. And I have
Hey.
drumsticks. So whenever anything happens, like, hey, girl.
Hey, girl, you remember?
He's
I
like,
remember.
he's like, they
Remember
got
those?
kids, so he's got to do the drum pad. He's like, we got to keep this on the DL.
Hey, he's like, put these headphones on. Oh, that's awesome.
Oh
So
my
what
gosh.
was the? So that's how y'all first met. Great story, love
Yeah.
it. What was kind of like the first date?
Oh my
Official.
Oh my goodness. Our first date, everything, it's so funny because everything like revolves around church. Our
I know.
first date was, we did a, in Spanish we call it campaña. I don't even know what to, how do you
gosh.
say
Like
that?
those revival tents that
Okay.
they used to do
Oh,
back.
Bro,
yeah.
is y'all's whole dating relationship around church and?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, yeah. We met at
All of
church.
you
We
met-
served at church.
I
We've
love
been
it.
together at church.
Your
Yeah.
first date was a revival.
Yeah, our first date was no. So
No,
I
actually.
that night. I don't know if you want to say it. So that night, I texted her because I had her number, So I texted her and I was like, "Hey, are you going to the thing tonight at church?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm going." And I was, bro. I was like, "Yes." So I put on like whatever the best thing I had to look really good. Like I legit went all out for this thing, but I was just playing drums at the thing. So then afterwards, we did the whole revival thing. And our first date together was we went to Denny's.
Grand slam, baby.
Amazing spot. We went to Denny's together, and it was at night. And I did. So this was at church, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was at church. We went there. We did Denny's. We had a couple people there, and that was like our first date because we call it our first date because we were literally it was just the two of us in our own world. Like we were in a
it was
booth.
amazing.
And it was just us talking to each other the entire time.
They take a
Aw.
picture of us and everything. It's on Facebook.
Yeah,
we'll have
yeah.
to find it.
We have to find
Yes, you'll have to send it to us.
Yes.
Okay,
It
so
was really cool.
question. If Gus was to say, hey, babe, we're going to have a date now, and y'all were to go to church, would it be a date? Would it feel like a date to you?
If we went to Denny's afterwards.
Oh, okay. I have like a strict guideline. I'm like, that's not a date. I'm like, nope. He'll be like, we just dated last night. We were at church together. I'm like, nope.
No.
I'm
I tell her,
like,
I'm like, girl, listen. There's people. There's entertainment. Music. If we take communion, there's
That's good.
food. That's a date.
Yeah,
like I don't
right,
know what
right.
else that qualifies as a date.
Uh-uh.
She's like, nah, dog, that ain't no date.
no way.
No.
So I
That's
love
hysterical.
like the roots being Denny's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So after actually our first official date together alone, it was at Denny's again too.
Yeah, we did it.
And
We just-
I didn't have a car, so I don't know if I can say it. Like funny story, but like I didn't have a car. She had a car. She had to pick me up.
I'm older than him.
Yes, she is.
Not by much, but
Not by much, but I didn't have a car, so she had to pick me up. So she comes in her, your uncle's.
I was a sugar mama.
Yeah, she drove me
And-
around.
Let's
she
be
did.
honest.
And
drove
she
me
already
around.
knew she was gonna marry you. So
I
she's
know,
like,
so
get
she's
in the
just
car,
getting ahead of the
punk.
game. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? So, she picked me up. We went to Denny's again for the first time, like alone, and it was a blast, man. It was a lot of fun.
It's really cool.
That's hysterical.
So how long did y'all date before your kids? I see a little.
Oh my God.
There.
We're
How
just
long did
real
y'all
here.
date before before you got engaged?
Oh my gosh. 2 years.
Yeah.
2.5
Okay.
years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2 years,
2.5
and
years.
that's a whole another story
That's a
too
whole,
because
that's a whole thing.
I tried to. Well, before all of that, it was how long did we talk before she became my girlfriend? Because she was being
Oh.
hard-headed because she knew she wanted to marry me, but for some reason she still wouldn't want to be my girlfriend. She kept saying no. She denied me how many times?
I made him date me. Like we went on dates.
Yeah.
I like this.
before
Yeah.
I
She
said
legit
yes.
like she kept on denying me. I think I asked her to be my girlfriend 3 times, and 2 times she said no, not yet. We have to keep on like going out, being together, talking.
Yeah.
So I was
Okay,
like-
so now I'm really curious. I mean, I'm in the story now. Like, what caused that? Was that something you had and been instilled as a little girl? Like, what caused you to be? Because if you walk in, you hear, "I'm going to marry him." Wow, here's my number. Definitely call me. No, I'll call you. But then all of a sudden, now we're going, no, you haven't like gotten to know me enough. That's
Yeah.
a crazy little scenario. So what caused that in you to
He
like?
just still had to prove himself to me. Like, just because I knew doesn't mean that he didn't have to prove himself. He had to try to
Oh,
win
I
me
like
over
that.
too.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So she wanted the pursuit. She wanted to
I
make
did
sure.
want the pursuit.
Absolutely,
Of
I get
course.
it.
I wanted to know that he was really in it. You
Yeah.
know, I'm not just give myself like I did a lot. A lot, and I know it. I'm like, man, I went too fast, but that's okay.
Look at you now. Look at you now. That's exactly
That's
right.
amazing. So now y'all been married for how long? How many years have you been married?
So, all right, go ahead.
Our anniversary is on Sunday.
Yeah,
Let's
we
go.
make 12 years.
12 years married.
12
12
years
years.
married.
Yeah.
And you'll be at
happy
church.
anniversary.
We'll be at
We'll
church.
be at
Yeah.
church
We'll
because
be
it's
at
on a
church.
Sunday.
The story
So
continues.
you better be taking her to Denny's. I'm just saying.
Oh shoot, we should go to Denny's.
12 years. Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my
We're excited.
goodness. That's
So-
hysterical.
Break down like dating now. Okay, so you have kids, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit, but that dating now, is it still a priority for you? Do you find you have to make it a priority? Do you find it comes easy and natural? What does it look like for you now? 2 kids, both have careers, heavily involved in the church. What's dating look like now?
Yeah.
Every season looks different for us, I think, and it has been very different. There was a point where we did not prioritize dating
At all. Yeah, it was really bad.
because the kids, they were little, and we're just like, it's okay, we'll get there, it's fine, we still
the
love each
time
other.
will come up.
Yeah,
Instead of us saying we'll make the time,
Yeah.
we just kept saying, "Oh, there'll be a time."
yeah. But
First.
we finally were like, okay, it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been a few years like this, obviously, just making that a priority.
Mm-hmm.
And we love it. We're very intentional now about how we're dating, and it doesn't really, what's the word? Like it's not.
It doesn't feel forced.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't
not.
feel forced. It doesn't feel like you're saying. Some people can confuse it like, oh, do you make the time? Do you prioritize it? Like,
Yeah.
yes, we do, but it's not like we're saying, hey, at this time this is gonna happen. Like it just
Yeah.
comes out naturally from us because of the love that we have for each other. Because
Yeah.
we want to just be together.
Spend time with each other.
Yeah.
It's not a job.
Yes.
Like dating for us is not a job.
It's not a job.
Yeah.
It's just something that we like to do.
Yeah.
You
Do
just
you,
like to.
do you ever have, like, because you've got kids that are old enough to understand, mom and dad are on a date,
Mm-hmm.
do your kids ever push back? Like, man, why are y'all not going on a date again? Can we come? Why? Do you ever get that pushback, and how do you handle that? Because I know for us, we definitely, our boys were like, what do you mean you're taking mom out again? Like,
Oh yes. But
No
we don't
way.
ever get to spend time with you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what did we do last?
What did we do last Saturday?
Don't
Yeah.
they forget? They
Didn't we
always
just spend time with
forget.
you guys the
Didn't
other
we
day?
just-
Didn't we just go to Jumping Squirrel or
Didn't-
Flying Squirrel the other
Flying
day? Like
Yeah.
we do spend time with you guys. So we're really honest with our kids and we explain to them, hey, mommy and daddy still have to take care of each other because when you guys are older and you find your spouses, you'll understand what we're talking about. Even before then, you'll go out, you'll go to college, maybe you guys will be out of the house. We still have each other. So we have to continue like building our relationship. We have to continue building our, love for each other. And we have to keep liking each other. We have to keep choosing to love each other. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You say it a lot more eloquent and nice than I do.
Oh.
I used to tell my boys, I'm like, listen, I loved her before you, and I'm going to love her long after you. So I got to keep her in my friend. Oh, man, whatever that. But I love that you're teaching, and especially, so I had 3 boys, and my whole thing of dating for them was just the example.
yeah.
Hey, like,
Right.
your mom is a priority to me.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
your wife ought to be a priority too, because what you saw your father do, hey, even when it's tough seasons, difficult, monetary wise, you still know I've got to make
Yeah.
time for my spouse.
absolutely.
You have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so, even that example of, honey, this is like, you should expect this and
Right.
demand
Right.
this.
Right.
Do you ever have those conversations? Like, do you talk to her about that, or not the age yet that we're there.
Right. For me, though, so I'm speaking for me personally. Like, I haven't talked to her about that just because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm real scared about it. I'm like, I don't know if I want to get into those conversations
Wait, how
with
old
her.
is she?
We're about to dive into that.
Wait, tell everyone how old she is, just
So she is 11 years old.
Okay.
But she has the brain of a 17-year-old. Or
There
not
is-
even an
there
18-year-old.
is
Not
no
even,
doubt
like a
about that.
30-something.
And the stature.
And the
the
stature
stature.
of basically taller. She's about to be my height, and I'm like 6 feet tall. But she's really smart though. She does see those things, and I haven't had to have a conversation with her about those things yet. Like she said, it is coming soon because there's been a little like, oh, I have a crush on a boy. So I'm like, only boy you better love is Jesus and me. But I do try to make sure that she sees how much I love her mom. I do try to see like, hey, you know, I hug her a lot. Something that I've actually been noticing is she's been hugging me a lot lately. Gabby has. And I'm like, okay, well, I try to make sure that I hug her back. And it's not, even if I'm doing today, matter of fact, today, like I was busy, I was doing some things before we left, and she hugged me, and I was just kind of like moving it along because we had to go. But then I stopped myself, I turned around, I went to where she was, and I gave her a hug. Yeah. And it's because she sees that she's starting to do that more often, I think, because she sees how much me and her do it, right? Yeah. We hug each other a lot, we kiss each other, you know, we show public displays of affection in them in a way that they'll see like, hey, mom and dad really do love each other, even when they're mad, even when they're happy, even when they're going through it, things like that. So I do try to, it's kind of like a leading by example type of thing.
That's so special too, that you acknowledge that you understand that when she's seeking out that affection, it's from you, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a couple different ways that she can get that affection, and so by you meeting that affection, it makes her not want to go seek it somewhere else, you know?
Right.
Yeah. It's really, really important.
Yeah,
but you guys have you have both extremes because you have a boy and a girl.
Yes.
So it's like that role, and some people think there aren't any, you know, stereotypical roles, but I think at least from our perspective, we wanted our boys to be the leader in their home and to lead well.
Yeah.
And so I think we wanted to instill in them how to pursue correctly and all of those things. Do you guys see that different? Obviously, you have drastically different age differences. One, you know, that's maybe getting closer.
I
and
can't
then
believe she's 11.
I know she's so tall. She's so
right?
tall and so
Every
mature.
person we see, they're just like,
I really thought she was closer to like 13.
11?
I did. I know, 13, 14.
What grade is she in? 5th grade. What? No way.
Yeah.
But why is she so tall? It's every single time.
That's wild.
It is.
Yeah. But yeah, y'all kind of have both to handle and process. So that's interesting.
One of the things, and I'm not going to spend it here long, but we're about to talk about a pod on dating your kids.
Yeah.
It's our last month on what it looks like to date your kids.
That's cool.
Just
I love
quick
that.
nugget.
Yeah.
Do you do that? Do you find yourself doing that? Do you do that a lot with girls? And it was harder with boys. I had boys. And so, like, you got to make that an effort, right?
Oh,
and
yes.
when we were disconnected, it's went a lot. But with your daughter, is it easier with her than it is your son? Do you make it a priority for both of them?
So that's definitely something I feel like I should make a priority. It's just me being honest. Like this is something that I've started to realize that I need to start doing. When she was younger, like we do like daddy-daughter dances. We did that a couple times. Excuse me. And then I also did one time I went out with her and I went to a date, or not a date. We were just kind of driving around, just me and her, and we found a fair and we went to the fair together. And she talks about that to this day, like still.
She talks about it all the time.
And so I think that is something that I definitely just, again, moment of transparency, do need to start doing a lot more, because even now she'll be like, hey, Dad, can me and you go out sometime, like just the two of us? You know, that'd be fun. I'd like to do that. So I'm glad that she still wants to do that with me. So it's definitely something that's on my radar now that I need to like work on doing more often.
Yeah. I'll just tell you, man, from one dad to another, definitely do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Those
Especially
are,
now.
you know, and hearing her talk about like that carnival or that fair, it just shows you the depth of what we just do is quick, like, oh, this will be fun. The depth of how it sticks inside their brains of this time that my father. And then that's her expectation, to date somebody that does that, spontaneous and creates. I know she's not going to do it for 30 years, but when she dates, you know.
Well, we all have those seasons, like you said before, where, you know, sometimes our dating can get stagnant and it just becomes harder, becomes a chore, or maybe we're busy, so we just kind of, you know, go through the motions or whatever. Well, there was a report done by the National Marriage Project at UVA. I'm assuming that's University of Virginia. I don't really know. The Wheatley Institute, they surveyed U.S. married couples about their dating frequency, and they found out that over 52% report that they never date.
What?
Not even
So
rarely.
sad.
I know. Not even rarely. They never go on a date, while 48% reported regular dates at least once or twice a month.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Yeah.
So that stat is like, that's half of marriages say we don't date.
Yes. That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, for a couple other things, like the
Yes,
divorce
like-
rate and all that.
It's almost
and
the exact same.
no way.
Well, I mean, the divorce rate is almost 50,
yeah.
Oh my
50%.
goodness.
But it does say that, it says in that same report, it said wives and husbands who reported frequent date nights were 14 percentage points more likely to report that divorce was never in the future, or something like they didn't bring up.
Right.
So that's a wild stat.
It is.
right?
It is.
Because you
That's-
think of it's, you just get
Oh,
busy
man.
and you're like, is it really that important?
Yeah,
It
so I
is.
kind of want to go back to like that season that you said was not a good one,
Yeah.
Mhm.
because that number, and it's why we wanted to do this pod, honestly.
Yeah.
In our counseling center, that we sit with couple after couple and sitting across from many couples and doing the conferences, we find out that dating is a lost art amongst couples. It is not a priority anymore. Kids become priority.
Yeah.
Right.
Church becomes priority. Work
Yep.
becomes priority. And so everyone else becomes the adulterous woman, if you will,
Yeah.
other than your spouse.
That's true.
So let's go back a little bit, because we had that season as well. I mean,
Right.
like really did.
Yeah.
And we've talked about ours, so it's good hearing someone else talk about theirs. Talk about that season for me just a little bit. Kind of, how did you get there, right? Because you're newly married, everything's great. How did you slip into dating's now this thing that, we'll do, we never do? How did you slip into that? And then what did it create amongst the two of you being in that season?
Well, for us, if we're honest, we're right.
Yeah.
Which we are.
We've always, so since the beginning, I actually ended up getting pregnant before we even got married. So from the moment we got married, like it's always been go, go, go for us. We had to grow up together, be
Yeah.
parents together, learn how to be a husband and a wife while I was pregnant. And like, so everything happened really fast for us. So obviously in that moment, I'm like, okay, well, what's really important is that we have to be responsible for a child.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So then that really is what took place for us at the beginning. Right. And then after that, we kind of just got comfortable with the fact that we're like, okay, well, we still love each other. We care. It's all right. We're still together. As long as we take care of her, we're going to church and we keep God in the center of our marriage, we'll be fine. We don't have to
Yeah.
go on dates. We don't have money. Like, it's fine. It'll be fine. That was kind of our thing all the time.
We
It'll
got
be
real
fine.
complacent with
Very
that. Yeah.
complacent. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, honestly, when Jeej came, that's when I realized, I'm like, man, we really need to start going on. Like, we really need to start going on dates. I missed him,
Yeah.
because our world was literally wrapped up in Gabby, and she was everything to us. And then Jeej came, and we're like, oh my gosh, he's another whole world. And we're like, where are we?
Yeah.
Where we gotta do
Like,
something.
where we?
Yeah, we
at?
started feeling like
Yeah.
we started getting lost in our relationship. And we're, I think the number one thing that has kept us this far is that we're friends first and foremost. Like, we've always just been friends
Yeah.
and just kept it honest from the beginning. Like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Like, let's go. We got to step it up. Like, there's something that needs, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's really, and thank you for even being that honest and
Yeah.
open with your story. I love what you said, and the fact that your world just got wrapped up in her,
Yeah.
because it's not even like, we became no longer friends. I really didn't like him. He didn't like you. It wasn't that. You
No.
actually, your world was wrapped around something that is a priority.
Right.
Right.
And I think so many times what we see, and this is a very commonplace thing, that you elevate your children so much
Yes.
because you want the best for them. You want
Right.
them to have things you didn't have. You want to give them the life. You want them to see all the things, that you elevate their status above your own marriage status.
Right.
And then what happens is, like many couples, 19 years from now, when that person moves out the house, you look at each other and realize, I don't know you.
Yeah.
Because we made our child our priority.
Right.
We were not a priority. You know what? Let's go our separate ways.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that you saw that even in a healthy season, like nothing really bad happened.
Right.
And nothing really took place like that. But
Yeah.
we see that story all the time.
You know what's wild too is like when you look at the beginning of your marriage, right? You probably had to worry about your health, taking care of yourself. You had a baby on the way, all those things. And so what do? You go to the doctor's appointments. You make sure you take the vitamins. You like have a plan of action. But then when it comes to like dating our spouse, we don't see it as like this health check-in sometimes. I think we take it for granted and we don't like make that plan of
That's
like,
true. Yeah,
you know,
that's good.
are we doing the things we got to do? Are we checking in? Are we taking the vitamins? Are we scheduling the appointments? Because scheduling an appointment to be with your best friend doesn't sound sexy, right? Like
Right.
I shouldn't have to schedule something
I
with
think
you.
that sounds sexy.
You think that sounds sexy?
I mean, you
Hey,
can.
some people, you know, they like calendars.
That's
so.
what I'm
Right.
saying. But I'm saying, you know, you just end up taking it for granted.
Yeah.
So if you don't make a plan, so like if you're watching this and you're thinking, you know what, I'm waiting for him to make a plan. She's waiting for me to make a plan. Like jump over that hurdle.
Yeah.
Jump over that hurdle and make the plan. Go ahead and do it and make it a priority because it has to be done if you want to keep your marriage healthy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we tell people, I mean, there's couples out there that intimacy has been lost. They're not even intimate anymore. And one of the plans of that is circle it on the calendar. Like,
Yeah.
hey, on this day of the
Yes.
month,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to be together
Yep.
that day. So
Yep.
whatever you need to do that day, we're going to be intimate.
Yeah.
Whatever
know,
you got to do.
I think dating is that same type of mantra.
Mhm.
It's so important to be able to go, I don't care if you got to mark 2 red circles on a calendar. On these 2 Fridays, we're going to go do something
Yeah.
together as a date.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What do you like? What's your date now, y'all? What do y'all like to do now that brings you to the most joy?
We just, bro, there's nothing specific. We just love to be together.
Yeah.
Like, we could do anything. The other day, perfect example, the other day, I had to work. She had to work. So what did we do? We just made a date out of it. And we went to,
First
where was it?
Watch.
We went to First Watch. We sat down. Go ahead.
Because my birthday's coming up. It's
Hey,
Our
plug.
birthday is coming up.
Yeah, that's
Me
right.
and Dee have the same birthday.
Yeah, we
that's
do.
right.
We
Yeah.
do.
I totally forgot
February
about that.
6th.
That's right.
February
Everyone wants to
6th.
know. So, you know, First Watch sends the buy one, get one
Yes.
breakfast, whatever. So we were like, let's go on a little
So,
work date.
Yeah, so my job gives me a lot of flexibility with where I can work at. I don't have to be at home. So I took my laptop, she took her laptop, and we
Yeah.
sat there and it didn't feel like we were just both working the whole time. Like we were talking to each other still. Like she was telling me about her stuff that was going on with work. I was telling her about my stuff. We had a nice breakfast together and it was fun.
Yeah, it was like a check-in for us too. In
Yeah.
the middle of the week, just like, hey, let's get out of the house because
Yeah.
we're both remote. Let's get out of the house, but let's be together and just make it sweet.
Yeah, we do that. We
Yeah.
do a lot of day dates to like answer your question. Like, we do a lot of daytime dates because we have a lot more energy during the day. The kids are in school now,
So
so
Kids
good.
are in school.
which is
Yeah.
great. It's so great.
That helps us a lot.
That does help. That does help a lot. And they're in school, so we get to hang out, you know, and go anywhere. Honestly,
Yeah.
anywhere. If it's like Target for an hour and a half, which is never a thing for an hour and a half, because you know how Target runs are. Right. So it's that. It could be going out to
Maybe.
do groceries, and then after that we go somewhere else. You know,
Yeah.
anything during the day is really what's
Yeah.
been like our new flavor, I guess you could say, that we've recently.
We're
liked.
definitely foodie people.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
facts.
You know, so
Okay.
we always really try to be intentional as where we're going to go. That, yes, I will say that. We're like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
definitely. We love hibachi. We love sushi. Oh my gosh,
Oh,
we love
sushi.
sushi.
I love
sushi
sushi
also.
We love
Sushi.
hot pot. Oh my gosh.
So
Mhm.
are you people that like, are you rut eaters or do you like to go somewhere new? Because he would eat the same thing at the same restaurant
Oh,
every
yeah.
time. And I'm like, I don't want to eat the same
My
place.
man's
I
Kurt
wanna-
goes to Chili's every
Hey.
time.
Bro,
and
chips
orders
and
the
queso,
same
dog. Chips and
No, that is the one thing I'm intentional
No,
about.
yeah,
I
same,
don't
actually.
mind, the flexibility, but I'm like, let's be intentional about where we're going.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
okay.
things like we do like to try new things as much
Yes.
as we can. There we'll have the occasional, like spot, like, oh, let's go to the spot, let's go here.
Yeah.
We have a sushi spot near the house. We're like, oh, we want to go on a quick date, maybe
there, yeah.
we'll go there. But then we also, whenever we have the time and we're like, hey, your mom's watching the kids, like, let's go somewhere. Like, oh, okay, great, I know this new restaurant, or
Yeah.
hey, I know this new spot
Really
in Hyde
cool.
Park,
Oh,
or
yeah.
like every single time.
Yeah.
It's very planned as far as where we're gonna go.
Because we care about each other. We know we care about what I care about what he likes. I know that he cares about what I want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that the intentionality about where even you go is a big deal.
Yeah,
Because
it
you want
shows
to
that-
enjoy where you're
yeah.
where you're at. You want to like the food you're eating or
Yeah.
the atmosphere. So
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
I think it's sometimes you have to do a little bit of back work
Mhm.
in order to have fun with your spouse and just
Yeah.
have a good time.
Absolutely. When I was looking
Yeah.
up some different ideas for dating, there were 2 different rules that I stumbled on that I thought were a little interesting because, I think when we were in the season of when our kids were little, we did have to fight for it. Like we really had to fight to make the plan, to do the things. But the first rule is the 3-3-3 rule. It's 3 dates a month, but it's all cheap and easy things like going on a walk, like a Netflix and chill night, like put the kids down and
Oh,
doing it
yeah.
at the house.
We have those.
Yes. She goes, uh-huh.
Yes. Yes.
That's right.
That could be all 3. Bump the walk. Let's get some chill.
That's
We
right.
can just skip trace to the after the walk.
That's right. That's
Just
right.
go on a date 9 times a month, 12 times a month.
Coffee date, and you could even make specialty coffees at the house.
Yes,
Like doing
absolutely.
dinner together, lunch date,
Yeah.
or something more extravagant. But communication and doing it consistently being the key.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, and I love and see you can go on work dates where you go. Danette says
I push
working
back.
is not
Really?
a date.
We
No.
work together all the time, so I'm like, we
Okay.
can't-
Well, it
this
might be
isn't-
that might be different though.
Yeah, I
'cause
mean, we tried it. We're like, let's try it. Let's see how this, and it felt
It
good.
was really
it
nice.
Was nice. We
Yeah,
had
it
a
was
great
really
time,
nice to-
honestly.
I actually love it, and I think it may be different because you both have different jobs, right? So
Right.
you're able to
Yeah.
do
That's
your
what I'm
work,
That makes
saying.
sense.
Maybe it's
communicate.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Us, we start working because we do the same thing, so it's like we
Yeah.
ought to do this. I need to do this. It just becomes not fun. But
Did
I
you
love
remember
that
to
you-
schedule that? No, did you?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's your date.
Exactly.
That's your date. Yeah, right.
I'm like, this isn't a date.
That is actually
So accurate.
Yeah, Emmeline's over there filming. She goes, "You're
that's
offending
legitimately a
Curtis."
date.
Nailed it.
So let's break that down a little bit because you do a lot of dates, which I love. You do work dates
Yeah.
and you do regular dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super special. And I mean, it's so crucial to hear you say, man, if we got an hour and a half that we can just go do lunch, that's a date.
Yeah.
Don't take for granted what it is. That's time together.
Right.
Now,
Exactly.
do you find communication on your date? Do you use that as times to address hard subjects that you need to talk about, or do you keep dates safe,
Ooh.
or like?
We try to
You wanna
keep them
answer?
safe
Yeah,
for
but
the most part.
Yeah, but there's still times where we still talk about. It's not necessarily like hard topics. We just kind of talk about everything and anything.
Yeah.
Like we don't. There are times where if we're talking about something like, oh hey, we need to plan this, it'll just be a real quick like, we need to plan this. Okay, we'll do that tonight. Like that's it. But then we'll go back to like everything else that we're talking about, whatever is on our minds.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel. I don't know
Yeah.
about you.
When you say safe, what are you saying? What do you mean by safe? Like,
Well, when we sit, what you want to answer?
Yeah,
Sorry,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. When we sit in the counseling room with couples, a lot of times they'll use their date nights to hash out issues.
Oh.
Or to talk about things that are pressing in their marriage. And so we always try to encourage them to have safe space, like that those things are tabled
love
for
that,
another
yeah.
time
Right.
instead of date night,
Yeah. So we call them safe space conversations. So like, once a week on a Sunday from 7 to 8, you may sit around your kitchen table and you have harder conversations. But when you go out on a date,
Right.
those are things you're supposed to be making memories.
Yes.
Have fun, enjoy each other's
Absolutely.
company.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting for me because there are many people that they go on dates to get in disagreements.
Oh
yeah.
no, no,
that's
no, no,
terrible.
no, no, no,
Mm-mm.
no. One like we make it so something like
Sorry.
specific. Yeah, we definitely do not try to do that.
No.
We don't talk about hard stuff. Now, if it comes up, we'll talk about it in a civil way, and then we'll be like, oh yeah, that's something we should talk about.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
And then like one thing that I personally I avoid doing is talking about the kids.
Absolutely.
Like talking about the kids,
Wow, that's good.
it's not even
Ooh,
that I
that's
hate it or
real
that I
good.
don't like it, but is this something that I intentionally like? Oh, so oh hey, I saw Gabby doing this thing. Like I try not to do that, or
Yeah.
because the date's not about them, it's about,
about
us.
us.
Oh, I
It's
love
about
it.
stuff like I'll ask like, hey, how was your day?
Yeah.
You know, hey, what do you think about this? How do you feel about what you're gonna be doing in a few years, or what do you want to do?
We also talk about just random things.
Yeah,
that we
super
read
random. Like, yo, you saw this
online, or
TikTok
like,
on.
Did you see this video?
Did you see this video about
Did
how
you watch
America's
the
laying
video?
off
Yeah.
50% of its workforce, or something like not to be like political, but stuff like that, funny things like music.
Did you see the 10 Instagram videos I sent you, honey?
Oh yeah.
Okay, wait. Does
Oh
he not
my
respond
gosh,
to either?
So listen, hold on a second.
Hey, you don't have to justify with me. I'm like, bro, our safe place, like our Sunday night conversations for 7 days, like, I sent you 9 reels. You didn't say anything to any of them.
I
Thank
literally
you.
last night said, I'm going to lay here till you watch them, and I want to hear you laugh.
Bro, listen, Genesis does the same thing, all right? Listen, I'm going to be candid right now, all right? I'll be on the bed, she'll be on the bathroom, and all you hear is my phone.
Why do I gotta be in the bathroom?
Because you are usually in the bathroom. So she'll be in the bathroom, I'm in the bed, I don't know, watching something, I'm on my phone, watching my own, reels or whatever, or I'm playing a game. It's like, babe, what, babe? Watch what I just sent you. I'm like, okay, babe. I'll watch it when I get a chance, and then I'll watch them. But the thing is, I'll watch them, but I won't react to them. I won't anything. Did you even watch
So
them?
how do I know what to send him next if he doesn't
I feel
like
your
it?
pain. I'm the same way.
Hey, so listen, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, this is a real beef, bro. Like,
This
this is a
is
real
This
problem.
is beef. This is beef right now,
So
bro. For
she
real.
sends me these things, and I get. They're backing up, right? So I'm like, okay, God, go through them.
They're back.
Okay,
I'm
wait.
like-
Hold on a second. If they're backing up, I'm sorry, brother, but that's on you.
You
'Cause
have your
I don't
days.
ever.
You have your days.
Nah. I don't ever let it get
Okay,
past.
what
like,
I mean, I
5.
can't stand the red number. So as soon as I see a red little notification, I instantly watch it. But it
Okay.
doesn't deserve a comment, or I'm like, oh, okay, that was good, or whatever.
No.
Well, I send
have
her
to
things that are
react to it.
hilarious,
Yeah,
and she don't say nothing.
bro.
So then I'm like, oh, hold on, why you coming at me?
Mhm.
We
You
have-
don't respond. She's
Yeah.
like, well, that wasn't funny.
We have a very different sense of humor.
Always.
That's
So do
why.
we.
Always,
honestly.
bro. We do, but at the same time, it's very similar though. Like
And
our
let's
sense
be
of
real.
humor.
A lot of the ones you send me are usually
Somebody's getting knocked out.
somebody's getting knocked out, or it's
So it
some
involves
husband
violence?
coming on to like how to it's something that's like whatever. It's like a
Oh,
husband-wife
yeah.
moment.
Hey, I told her the other day. I
I'm
saw
like-
this one the other day. I saw this one. It was like, anytime your wife rubs up against you, and she was walking past this dude in the kitchen, and she like bumped his elbow or something, and he took his hat off, took his shirt off, and was like, let's get it on. I'm like,
Yes.
see, I'm not the only one. You can't be bumping up against us like
Well,
that.
I sent that to him, and I said, "This is you."
Yeah,
always.
that's what she'll do. She'll send me
Always.
stuff to accuse me.
Oh,
So then at that point, I don't react to it. I put my phone down and I go to her and I go do it. I'm like, you want to say that's me? Okay, fine.
He does.
That's me then.
oh,
He actually does.
That's what.
That's what
we
you
do,
gotta do, bro.
100%. Go
Rub
ahead,
up
send
her-
it to me.
That's
Put her elbow up and rub up
hysterical.
against it. That's what you have to do. So that way she gets more of a reaction. She gets a live reaction.
She gets a in time
Mhm.
action. So let's do this. Talk to me now, because one of the things that was really mind blowing for us, and we loved watching it, was when you guys started doing kind of like, this is our Friday or something like that. This is us together. I forgot the name of it.
Our
But-
vlogs,
It's
our
just
videos,
vlogs.
The vlogs,
Yeah,
the
we just call them
content.
vlogs.
Yes.
It was, I'm sitting there just enamored. One of y'all went to Starbucks and you talked about your orders and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I remember that.
I got
was
lost
fun.
in it, bro. I'm like, wow, this is awesome.
That one was fun. That one was fun.
So kind of talk to me a little bit. How did that spur? Why did you start it? Did you incorporate it into your dates? Kind of what was like, because I know you've done Starbucks. I know you've done cooking.
Yes.
I mean, like I've seen it all. I've watched them. So
If I can start. So what happened with that, honestly, I laugh because we have a thing. So
Yeah.
what happened with that is I started doing that on my own just because I was doing things. I first started doing it with gaming, then I started doing it with like me making bread. And then one day I did it when we went out on a date together, and everybody was like, oh, this is really cool. I love it. So cute. Oh my gosh. So I was like, oh, cool. And then Genesis was like, babe, it's really good. We should do it. Like, you should keep doing it. And then I kind of kept trying to do it more and more. And then I kind of like fell off because I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like
It became work for him.
It became a chore
Really?
for me.
So it became work for him. So I realized, okay, if it's work for him, then it doesn't feel like fun. It doesn't feel datey.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, so to back up, that's where it came from. It was just something that I thought it was fun to do at the time, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, people really like it. Let's cook
Let's
together
keep doing it,
and let's
yeah.
film it. Let's film them, cooking together. Let's film us. She actually had the Starbucks idea, the coffee one, and she was like, let's go to Starbucks. Let's get pumpkin spice lattes and let's da-da-da-da.
Well,
So-
you had the apple one.
Yeah, the apple one. The apple one was fire.
Oh.
No, you ended up.
Did I like that one?
Yeah, you ended up switching with me.
I don't remember.
Anyway. So that's how that came about. And now I'm more like, okay, yeah, let's do it to an extent, or let's do it, if we plan it out correctly. So that's something that she's actually been doing it a lot
Yeah.
more lately.
I like it. I kind of want to show people too, like, hey, we're still young. We love each other. We have kids. People don't believe me sometimes because of how tall they are, right?
Because of how young we look.
Right.
That's right.
No.
Yeah.
There's my close up. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I want to show people that it's still fun to be with your spouse, even though you have 100 things. We
Right.
have, but if you know us personally, you know that our calendar is always pretty full.
Always full.
But we are very intentional, and that we still care for each other during the week, and we still make time. We want to do something creative. I think that's what helps me too. We're creative people, and so it's just an outlet as well. Like, okay, what's something that we can do outside of everything else, the scope, that we can be creative and have fun, and that's what we're doing.
So I'm gonna like put them on on the carpet. Is that how you say it?
No, you're gonna put them on a hot seat.
On the hot seat. Okay.
Okay.
I wanna
Okay.
say-
We're not already.
You
what's
could
the
put them
word?
on the carpet. I don't
Like,
know what you're
what's
gonna
the
do with
word,
them
Ready?
in.
We
What's
can put
the
them
word?
on the
I'm like,
carpet.
I think I'm ready.
I'm just gonna put it out there because
Okay.
we've been talking about, and he did like a little surprise date night for me in the park or whatever, and we've been talking about doing date night kits for couples. And I just think if y'all would be willing, it'd be amazing for y'all to do one for us. And it's literally just like
Oh.
that, just like vlogging your night. It doesn't have to be expensive. It's just like, this is how we spent time together.
Dude, yes.
Would y'all do that?
I think we would love to
Absolutely.
do
that
that.
would be
See,
awesome.
Mark it down.
It's definitely
That-
like
absolutely.
it gets me excited. So the thing for me why I was kind of like about it is because I had to plan it all, but when she got with me to do it together,
Yeah.
that's when I was like back into it. So if I can plan it out, that would be great. We would
No
love to do
pressure,
that.
no stress.
Behind
Right,
that.
Yeah,
right.
if it's no stress, that would be really cool.
Yeah, no, of
Oh.
course. We'd
That would
love
be
to do
awesome.
it. That'd be amazing.
We'd be honored. Yeah.
That'd
Really
be
cool.
real dope. Give us to the young couple who dating is difficult right now
Yeah.
with kids. If you could just fire an over the bow shot to encourage and implore, what
Yeah.
would you say?
I think that I would say just again, dating your spouse is not going out on fancy dinners or being. It's about intention, right? It's about being intentional with spending time together. It's about being friends. It's about remembering that you're friends first before you were, all this stuff. Before you were husband and wife. Before you were father and what's the other mother? Thank you.
Yeah, that would be the opposite of
Yeah.
father.
I forget. But before all of that, you guys were friends first, right? And you
So
want to
good.
just always remember that you want to keep that friendship alive. And dating doesn't have to be expensive or going out or being, going miles away or renting a cabin or going to a fancy restaurant. It doesn't have to be all that. It could be just like we said, like Netflix stuff, right? Hey, yo, there's this new show. You want to watch it together? Great. We do that all the time. Like, there's always times where I tell her, like, hey, I want to watch this show together. Okay, I won't watch it because she'll always be like, 4 episodes ahead. And I'm like, okay, I'll stop watching it. And she waits for me to catch up. And that makes me feel like, as a husband, it makes me feel loved because, like, wow, she stopped what she was doing because she intentionally wanted to come alongside me to watch this. And it's something, it sounds silly, but the fact that the intention is there, like the heart is there, that's what it's all about. Yeah. So just take some time to, spend time with your wife, spend time with your husband in any way.
Be intentional.
Be intentional.
Be intentional.
And I'll tell you from the other end of things, and now being bird launchers.
Bird launchers. That's what we're saying instead of empty nesters, because
I like that.
Wow,
I
that's a
actually-
good
I
spin
like
on it.
that
Yeah.
So much better.
yeah.
Because
We
empty
nester,
feels,
yeah, it
it's
just
so
feels like it's so
sad.
Right?
negative. It's such a
Yeah.
negative
Sad.
connotation
Thank you.
to it.
Yeah.
Bird
Oh,
launchers
bird
is like,
launchers.
yo, that's kind of
We
dope.
did it.
Like,
We did it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
Good
one of
stuff.
them birds came back home, But it's okay though. We still launched them jokers.
Listen,
Yo,
we were
shout out.
birds that came
Listen,
back home at one point.
Yeah.
Too.
Really quick.
So were we.
And
so
then we got
So
out.
were we.
So.
We actually had
Shout
to go
out
back
to,
home
to
twice.
my boy Dylan.
yeah, shout out to
That's my guy right there.
Dang, why I gotta put him on the spot?
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
No, he's building a business, so we're
He
very
is.
glad he
Yeah,
did. But
he's
you know,
awesome.
being
Absolutely.
on the other end of things, being bird launchers is kind of one of those things of going. You know, we also feel intentionality is everything.
Right.
And for couples, we see everyone overthinks too much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Because we
yes.
can't do what we see on Instagram, because we can't do all these elaborate things. We just can't do anything.
Ooh, can I talk about
Yes.
that real quick for a
Yes.
second? So that's social media, bro.
Ugh.
I promise you, it'll kill your marriage, and it will kill your friendship, and it'll kill your relationship, because the whole point of social media, right?
Yeah.
And this is something like that I think that we do with our reels that we do is like it shows you like you can do everyday things together.
Yeah.
The whole first one, like, hey, go with us on a date, and we went here and we went to this and we went to that. That's stuff you do every day, bro.
We
So
made sushi together.
yeah, we
like,
make sushi together.
bake.
It's stuff that you do that you can do. Social media is the biggest ruiner of like the reality that you have in your head, because it makes you think like, oh, in order to be a good husband, I have to make X amount of money to take my wife to here. In order to be a good wife, I have to look this way. In order to be have a good marriage, we have to go on a yearly trip to a cabin in North Carolina. Like,
Wait, so we don't have to do a fit check before every day? Is that what you're
right,
saying?
exactly.
No,
Like that
okay.
whole thing, like the whole fit check, like shoes, like that's cute and all, but we don't care.
You don't have to, yeah.
I don't know. You tell me. Like I don't care how she could be wearing sweatpants. I'll still be like,
He
tell
actually
her all
likes
the
me
time.
better in
right,
sweatpants.
exactly.
I tell her all the time.
like this is nice. This is great, honey. You look amazing.
I know.
By the way, you look amazing. But when we get home tonight, I'll be like, honey, you look good.
Yes.
Like.
When my
Yeah.
hair's up here in a bun, when there's nothing
Yeah.
on my face.
Why
I'm
is
like,
it the sweatpants and the messy bun does it?
Bro, it's
Something
just something.
something.
You
about
just have to be a
sweatpants
guy.
and that-
You just have to be a guy.
You do. It's
That's
just
it.
different.
It
It's
is
different.
You
That's
just have to
so
be a guy.
funny.
So social media, like what you were saying, man, it's such a killer. Like don't whoever's, if you're listening or watching, like that stuff is all for the. It's for the gram. It's all for socials. It's all for people to be to flex or to say, hey, I got this. Hey, I got that. Like, don't believe that stuff, man,
Yeah.
because that stuff it'll ruin it.
Yeah.
It'll ruin
Wow.
you.
yeah, we just want to inspire people.
Amen.
Just, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
If your post is going to change how you feel about yourself or your spouse,
Mm.
one way or the other, you don't need to post it.
Right.
exactly.
Talk
Like
about
if you
it.
Yeah.
if you feel happy and want to post it for your own memories, for me it's like I want to have this in my keepsakes
Right.
forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Do it. But if there's any part of you that wants to have that feedback and it changes how you feel about the other
Right.
person, I would say
That's kind of where you have
Don't
to
do
draw
it.
the line.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Listen, y'all. Man, this time flew by.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Like,
real?
Too fast. Man.
Yeah.
I feel like we could have sat here for a whole
It was
long
a good
time.
conversation.
It was
Yeah.
a great conversation.
Yeah.
Truly, truly, thank you guys for both being here. Listen, I will tell you this. We believe in dating your spouse.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's why
So much
everything we
fun.
give away is date nights, because we want you to spend time together.
Yeah.
Don't let excuses, don't let time, don't let anything tell you that you can't. We have done it. We have figured out ways to walk through it. And I promise you, with intentionality, you can do it too. So find a way to date your spouse this week. Surprise them. I mean, just snatch them up. Be like, we're going. Well, I guess don't snatch them up.
I don't know
but
about snatching,
Maybe
but
like, hey, we're going on a date,
I
and
mean-
then go do a picnic on the pond. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Very simple, very easy. Listen, we love you guys. Thank you once again for tuning in. Like and share, and figure out a way that you can date your spouse this week. Gus, Genesis, thank you.
Of course,
Thank
it's
you
a pleasure. Thank
guys.
you
It
guys
was so
for
much
having us. It was
fun.
fun. We really appreciate
I
it.
know.
So listen, you can encourage couples to date. Where can people follow you? Where can they check you out? How do they find you on socials?
That's a great Genesis. Go ahead. You got the tiki talkies
Oh
going.
my
The
God.
tiki-talkies.
Tiki-talkies.
Yo, follow Genesis. It's at Jen O'Neil, right?
On TikTok.
On
yeah.
TikTok. On Instagram.
Genesis O'Neil.
Genesis O'Neil.
Real easy.
And then I'm on IG as well at King Tavo. That's with 2 A's and 2 O's.
He's
There
my
it
king.
is.
That's right.
We'll throw it down in the
Loyalty, baby.
comments. We'll have both your socials there so that
For
y'all can
sure.
do that. But
Yeah.
truly appreciate the time. Continue to do what you do, because I promise you there are people out there, even people like us, watching it, being encouraged and inspired by how you're dating.
Thanks.
And
We love
you
That means a
guys.
lot.
you
We
fuel
love
us.
you guys.
So
You guys inspire us so much, bro.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
It's an honor.
Love y'all.
All right, we love you.
Once again, we want to say thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Our true desire is this has brought value to you, your marriage, and or your family. The fact is, we can't do what we do without the support of you. By your liking, subscribing, and sharing this content, it reaches to those that are beyond our reach. Also, we would encourage you, check out our website, brokenforbetter.com. Become a monthly supporter, because by you supporting us, you too are making a difference in marriages.
We want to stay connected with you. So follow us on all the different social media platforms at Broken for Better, because on those different platforms, we're going to be giving tools, we're going to have events, all the different ways that we can stay connected, and we want to be connected.
One of the terms that we've adopted is if your marriage will visit a fitness center, you too can avoid a trauma center. We truly believe in marriage coaching. It doesn't matter what season of life you're in, whether your marriage is a 10 or whether your marriage is a 1. We offer marriage coaching to take it to another level.
Thank you for joining us.